Month of November proved to be an intense period for Ukraine. The Russian military is ramping up aggression across several sectors of the front, leaving the Ukrainian armed forces in an increasingly precarious position. At the same time, a significant corruption investigation is rocking the domestic landscape, challenging the public's confidence in leadership while the nation's very existence remains under threat. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is advocating for a divisive peace proposal. In this video, we will break down these critical developments in the ongoing conflict. The overview of the war so far. While we usually begin our updates by focusing on specific territorial shifts, the current state of the conflict suggests we are at a vital turning point. It is worth evaluating the broad results of the war and the primary trends that have emerged recently. At the onset of the invasion, Moscow cited goals such as denazification, demilitarization, and the protection of Russian speakers. Let us examine how these have played out. If demilitarization means neutralizing an opponent's military capability, Vladimir Putin has largely failed. In 2022, Ukraine relied mostly on Soviet-era hardware. Fast forward to late 2025, Ukraine is now a formidable force, equipped with advanced Western tanks, fighter jets, long-range missiles, and a world-class domestic drone industry. Ukraine's military is undeniably stronger now than it was before the invasion, while Russia has drained much of its pre-war stockpiles. Regarding personnel, President Zelensky noted in early 2025 that the army has grown to roughly 880,000, a massive increase from its pre-war size of 250,000. While losses are high, with estimates from open-source projects like UA losses suggesting nearly 170,000 dead or missing, and permanent casualties likely reaching 300,000 to 400,000, the Ukrainian force is now incredibly battle-hardened. Thousands of officers and soldiers have gained invaluable combat experience. Therefore, the goal of demilitarization has backfired completely. Ukraine is more militarized than ever. As for denazification, which in Russian rhetoric implies regime change, this goal has also gone unfulfilled. The Zelensky administration remains in power, supported by major opposition parties in the fight against the invasion. Figures like General Zaluzhny or intelligence chief Budanov, often seen as future political players, are staunchly anti-Russian. Putin's invasion has effectively ensured that pro-Russian sentiment will not return to Ukrainian politics for generations. Territorially, the results are mixed. While Russia seized and then lost Kherson, major cities like Kyiv, Kharkiv, and Odessa remain firmly in Ukrainian hands. Though Russia has taken parts of the Donbass, the most fortified strongholds in the Slavyansk-Kramatorsk area are still held by Ukraine. Russia's most notable achievement remains the land bridge to Crimea. However, broader goals like forcing Ukrainian neutrality or reshaping European security haven't been met, though American isolationism could shift this balance in the future. In summary, Putin has paid a heavy price in lives and equipment for very inconsistent results. Battlefield overview. Does this mean Ukraine is currently winning? General Zaluzhny previously noted that high Russian casualties alone might not stop Putin. With no significant domestic pressure in Russia to end the war, Moscow has committed to a war of attrition, utilizing its vast resources to maintain strategic momentum. Since the summer of 2023, Russia has dictated the pace of the conflict. Even the Ukrainian operation in Kursk, while a temporary success, did not fundamentally change the overall momentum in favor of Kyiv. The Russian army is forcing Ukraine onto the defensive, gradually capturing territory in the Donbass through a slow, punishing grind. Sites like Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and now Pokrovsk demonstrate this slow grind strategy. Currently, Russia is pushing toward the Pokrovsk-Mirnograd area, making use of relentless infantry waves and advanced fiber-optic drones. Despite valiant defense, these towns are under severe threat. The manpower crisis remains Ukraine's greatest hurdle. Despite mobilizing 30,000 troops monthly, the army faces a surge in desertions. Reports indicate over 160,000 criminal cases related to unauthorized leave in 2025 alone, signaling deep-seated command and morale issues. Domestic scandals further hurt morale. A corruption probe into Energoatom has implicated high-ranking officials close to the president. While the investigation shows a commitment to rule of law, the timing is demoralizing for a society under constant aerial bombardment. Russia continues to launch thousands of drones and missiles targeting energy and rail infrastructure, with a production capacity of 2,700 Shahed drones monthly. Ukraine continues to strike back at Russian oil infrastructure, causing a 70% drop in Rosneft's profits. But these economic blows haven't yet caused a Russian collapse. A major concern for Kyiv is the Trump administration's shift toward a mediator role, using weapon deliveries as leverage to push for peace. While European nations like Spain and France are providing aid, including Iris-T missiles and future Rafale jets, Ukraine remains heavily dependent on American ammunition for systems like Patriot and HIMARS. Most current aid is defensive, reflecting Ukraine's priority to hold the line rather than launch new offensives. New peace plan. The decision on whether the front can be held indefinitely lies with Ukraine's leadership. Putin is betting on a total collapse of the Ukrainian defense under sustained pressure. This has yet to occur, and Kyiv must calculate if they can endure until Russian losses become unsustainable or international pressure mounts. This calculation is central to how Ukraine views the recent 28-point peace plan drafted by figures close to the Trump and Putin administrations. The proposed deal involves Ukraine withdrawing from the unoccupied Donbass to create a demilitarized zone under Russian control, with the rest of the front frozen. It suggests a gradual lifting of sanctions, a cap of 600,000 on the Ukrainian military, and a halt to NATO expansion. However, the requirement to surrender Donbass without ironclad legally binding security guarantees is seen by many in Kyiv as a surrender. Furthermore, the plan's attempt to sideline Europe make many points, like reconstruction funding, practically unworkable. Interestingly, the plan shows some Russian flexibility compared to the 2022 Istanbul talks. The proposed troop limit is much higher now. Still, the timing of the proposal, amid battlefield pressure and corruption scandals, was intended to force Zelensky into a corner. After a somber initial reaction, Ukrainian diplomats have begun renegotiating the terms, successfully removing some of the most detrimental clauses. Kyiv continues to demand a ceasefire and a freeze at current lines rather than surrendering uncaptured territory. Kyiv remains insistent on the surrender of the entire Donbass and refuses clear security guarantees, believing Russia can outlast Ukraine economically and militarily. He has been attempting this for nearly 4 years without total success. Finally, according to Oryx, visually confirmed losses underscore the scale of the conflict. Russia has lost over 4,250 tanks and 10,000 vehicles, while Ukraine has lost at least 1,338 tanks and 5,500 vehicles. Stay tuned for more updates on the conflict. To ensure you don't miss our reports, please subscribe and activate the notification bell. Your likes, comments, and shares are greatly appreciated and help the channel grow. For our supporters,